Hello Year 6, it's Miss Airy here on Monday the 22nd of February, and we are going to start our spelling today with some revision. Okay, what I'd like you to do in a moment is copy down this grid which has the graphemes for the phoneme A. So we're looking at the A sound and we're looking at the different graphemes that spell that sound. So if you could pause the video and quickly just copy this down. It doesn't have to be really neat, just make sure you've got the 4 graphemes written down. Okay, now that you have written down these graphemes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 4 spellings, and I would like you to first of all spell the words correctly and link them, so write them underneath the correct grapheme. So here we go, here's your first word. So the first word is arrangement. I had an arrangement to meet Mrs. Pratt. Arrangement. So just write that one down. Link it to the correct grapheme. Okay, your next word is disarray. The untidy room was in disarray. So which grapheme have I used there? Disarray. Your third word, surname. My surname is Airy. So where would you put surname? Which is the right grapheme? And your final word is repaired. The old bike was repaired. So where would you put repaired? Okay, and now if you wish to take a different colour, pen or pencil, you can mark these. So under the AY, under this grapheme here, you should have the word disarray. So we've got the prefix there, so if you could remember how to spell array with a double R, you'd be all right there. So disarray. Arrangement. Hopefully everybody remembered the E between arrangement. Repaired. And then our split digraph, obviously we had surname. Okay, so surname. Right, well, it'll be interesting to see if you got 4 out of 4. Just giving you a heads up, we will be revising these graphemes again on Wednesday, so be ready for that. Okay, so this is something that we actually looked at on the very first day back after the Christmas holidays. Some of you were in school, some of you weren't in school, and we didn't actually get to see this spelling rule through to the whole week. So I'm going to go back and actually revise this today. Now you can see the word here, official, and I've put it in a sentence and I've highlighted it in red because it isn't spelt correctly. So here's my sentence. Members of Parliament were meeting on official business. Now what I've done there is I've spelt it phonetically. So I would say that is phonetically plausible, and if a child in year 1 or year 2 wrote that word, I'd be really impressed because they've thought about that phoneme, the sh sound, and they've done it right. But we know, as we are now older, and we know more about spelling, that that isn't actually the right grapheme for that phoneme, sh. So we have to make a choice. Is it shul with a C-I-A-L, or is it shul with a T-I-A-L? Well, what a good speller always does is writes the word out with both versions, practice with both letter strings, as you see here, and which one looks right? Official, official. And I think hopefully people will spot that this is actually the correct one. What about residential? So again, I've spelt it so it is phonetically plausible, but we know it's not right. So year 4 pupils went on a residential trip to Stubbington Study Centre. So again, is it shall or shall? Is it with a C or with a T? And again, a good speller would try it with both. Which one looks right? Residential, residential. And hopefully people would notice that this time this one is the right version. So now we've got two letter strings that are spelling shell. So here's residential there and official there. Now what do you spot? What makes these two words different? Because it's not all about looking at a word and working out if it's correct. There is actually a rule. Now the one thing I'd like to point out here to you, and some of you may remember this from that first Monday back at school, is that here, let me just change the colour of that. Here is the letter I, just before the shall. Let me underline shall. Here's my other shall. So there I've got the letter I, and here I've got the letter N. Now I'm going to remind you all of your vowels. A, E, I, O, U. Now that's going to be really important when we think about what is in front of the shall, and you'll notice that that I is a vowel. So if I now take you to what we have here, we've got shall is after a vowel, and this shall with the T is after the N. Now there are of course always exceptions to the rule, but for the moment we're going to go with this rule because it does actually work for most shall words. So for C-I-A-L, this follows a vowel. If you remember, the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. And the rule for the T-I-A-L is it follows, and if you can remember now if it's not a vowel, what is it? What is our alphabet made up of? Hopefully you're saying this to your computer screen now. It's made up of consonants. So we have vowels and consonants, so all the letters that aren't A, E, I, O, U. Okay, so bearing in mind what you've got there, what we can now do is sort our words. So we've got C, I've put them all in blue. Let's check that the rule works. So I've got special vowel, official, crucial, facial, beneficial. So you can see each of those have got a vowel before the C, and hopefully all my green ones have got a consonant before the T. So confidential, influential, and residential. Now you notice actually that all of these have got N's, so perhaps it's worth investigating. Does it have to be an N? Are there any shall words that end that don't have an N but have a different consonant? Be interesting to find some. So there we go, I've grouped them like that. Now I did say when we came up with our rule that there are always exceptions to the rules, and here next to my policeman we've got some rule breakers. So these are words that don't follow the consonant and the vowel rule. So the first word that is a rule breaker that you do need to be aware of is initial. And that's with a T and a vowel. So that's a rule breaker. Financial, commercial, and controversial. Now there may well be, and there are, some other rule breaker words, but I've just given you some examples that our English language is tricky because it doesn't always follow the same rules. They're always out to get us. Okay, so let's have a little look then at your first task today. So the first thing I'd like you to do is task 1, which is on your sheet, is solve these anagrams. So you just need to write underneath what they are. Now my big hint for you is look for the C-I-A-L and the T-I-A-L first. So if you can pull out the C-I-A-L, for example here, you only have to then try and figure out what the rest of that word is with a P, an E and an S. So if I were you, I know that this word is a going to have that there. Then you can unpick what the rest of it is. So that's my top tip for doing all of your anagrams. Pull out the CIAL or the TIAL first. Now the second activity is a game. Now you could just play this by yourself by correcting all of the words, but I thought perhaps you'd like to play 4 in a row or 4 in a line with someone at home. So the way to play this is you take it in turns. You pick one of the boxes. So for example, I might pick the word facial. That was a word that came up here. And look, I can see I've got the spelling. I've got my vowel. I know it's going to be a C. So here I can write the word facial. I write it underneath, and if my partner agrees and says I've done it right, I can colour that one in. So I will be that colour, and my partner might be a different colour. So they might try and spell influential now by putting the right spelling in to try and block you from getting 4 in a row that way. So you can go up and down. You could even go diagonally if you wish to set the rule that way. If you find it really tricky, you can always change it to 3 in a row. You can always adapt the game if you like. So that is a game for you to play, and hopefully you can correct all of these words, and your partner can correct all of these words, these shall words. So good luck with that, Year 6, and I'll speak with you again on Wednesday.